Today we'll be working on a shabby farmhouse wood home decor project. Now for those of you that don't know, I am a designer for Reneabouquets.com, and I've been designing for Reneabouquets for well over 7 years. And every other month or so I come out with a project focusing on using product from Reneabouquets.com, and that's what I have for you today. I can't wait to share it, so let's get started. What we're going to be doing is I think I started with 15 paint sticks here. Really, for the size I needed, only needed about 10 paint sticks, but I wanted to have, enough. And I've just got 2 pieces of wood here, and I'm putting some wax paper over the top just because I'm going to be wood gluing these paint sticks together, and I don't want them to stick to the wood below. And I'm just putting wood below it for right now so that I have room to clamp all these when I am done. So putting this in order I need them, and just using some regular wood glue here, and both sides of my paint sticks, and of course gluing them all together. And I don't need the whole paint stick. I believe the printable that I printed out was, just a little bit larger than a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. It does take a little bit of time. You can choose to do this on just like one regular big giant size piece of wood, or make it a little smaller if you want, if you don't have that big piece of wood. But I kind of wanted that wood slat look, so I chose to use a bunch of paint sticks here. So we're almost done with this part of the project. And then I've got these great big gigantic clamps, and I'm just going to clamp them together and let them sit for a little while. And then once that's done, I flipped it over off camera, and I put a couple of paint sticks going vertical here in just one spot. And this is about the area where I'm going to draw my design, because I wanted that stability on the back. So what I've done is I found this just free image off of Google, and I printed it off. It was a little bit bigger than 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, so I kind of had to print the ears and the chin separately and then tape them together. But I wanted this, design here, so that's what I've got. I'm going to place it down, kind of centering it over where I've got those 2 vertical paint sticks, and then I'm just going to trace it. And then once I get that traced, we'll start cutting it out. Now, if you don't have wood, you could definitely use like foam board or cardboard or something like that and do the same thing. So as you can see, we're already on to the next step. I'm just using my jigsaw here, and I am cutting it out. I actually am very proud of myself. I thought it was going to look all jagged and rough, but it actually turns out pretty good. I think the concept, or the best option here, was to, jigsaw has speeds, and just by slowing it down a little bit, I had a lot more control over it. And it worked really, really well. Clamped it down as I cut it out. Here's what it looks like. See, I think it turned out pretty good. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to just take my electric sander here and get it all sanded front and back. So before we start decorating, let's take a look at the Reneabouquets supplies we'll be using. First up, this is a fabric chiffon flower in the color mint. It is temporarily out of stock right now, but there's lots of other colors. This is called drop leaf lace. It's about 4¼ inches in width. This is beautiful board laser cut chipboard. These are called Sweetheart ATC tag sets. They come with 2 tags and 2 little hearts. This is beautiful board laser cut chipboard circuit elements. You get 2 large sheets to a set. I like to cut them up in tiny pieces and use them. These are beautiful words. This is the Sweet as Honey set. I'll use the word sweet from the set. These are beautiful board laser cut chipboard. It's a set of 3 chain link frames. I'm going to use the smaller of the set. These are beautiful board, beautiful bits, means they're tiny little pieces called skeleton leaves. You get a bunch in a set, not just 2. These are a set of 24 mini roses and leaves. They come in a mint green, but I like them because they kind of look aqua color. And this is 1 in a set of 20 butterfly kisses, and the color is called Delicate Beauty. And this is Gaudy Girl Chunky Glitter Glass, and it's called Ocean is the color. So with that said, let's decorate. So for our cow today, I'm going to use Debbie's Design Diary DIY White Swan chalk paint, and I'm going to water it down a lot because I want it to look kind of like a whitewash so that a lot of the wood shows through. I'm also going to use a wood heart for my supply and a couple of little wood tags, and you could just cut out like some foam board heart and a couple of little tags if you want to do something like this. And I'm just kind of really lightly painting on this watered down paint. And I will paint this, of course, front and back because I want the back finished off, my heart, my two little tags, and then I'm going to sand everything up with my electric sander. And this is what it looks like when it's all done. I love how that looks. Love it. I think it turned out great. There's the back and my little tags. I've sanded them. You can see here just a little bit of distressing and my heart. So now I've got papers to fit my heart and my little wood tags here, front and back, the hearts front and back also, and then like the ATC tag from Reneabouquets. Just a little bit of papers here, a little bit of ephemera, and I'm going to take all these to my sewing machine and just sew in it like it's regular fabric. Those who've been with me a while, you know I'm going to do this. So it takes a little time, but you know, once I started this sewing routine on my papers, I can't not do it. It looks naked. Here's what it looks like. And to add a little bit more definition to the papers, I'm taking the open end of my scissor blades here and I'm just scraping along the edges. It kind of roughens it up and gives it a little bit of rusticness to it, and it helps the paper not just fall flat against what it's laying on. It kind of just gives it a little bit of lift, so to speak. So with the sewing and all and the distressing, it kind of gives us that rustic farmhouse feel. I'm using Beacon Fabri-Tac glue for my glue of choice, as I always do. I love this glue, and I'm just going to go ahead and put all my papers on my tags and my ATC tag and my wood heart here and get this ready. This one was like a little end of a piece of paper. It's okay if that little label, you know, the edge of the paper price label is on there because it'll get covered up. But I just had just a tiny bit of that paper left, so I was going to make it work. Just about done gluing everything on here. Now we're going to go ahead and start adding our little embellishments. This is a little metal clock piece here. You know, you go to the scrapbooking sections of like Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann's, you can find a lot of these little metal pieces. This is just a little metal frame I had. I actually cut it in half for some other projects, so I'm going to use this half of it because, you know, just a little bit's poking out. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue down the smallest of this beautiful board laser cut chipboard chain link frame here. And the way I layer here, things, you're just going to see little pokes and peaks of pieces here. You're not going to see everything in its entirety. And that's just the way I like to do it. I'm just laying down some cardboard here, figuring how many layers I need to glue together here so that my ATC tag here will layer nice and level over the top of my frame and little metal piece and stuff like that. Got that on there, and then I'm going to layer some more cardboard together here so that my little tags here can layer nicely. Because when I'm layering here, I mean, I've got, you know, 1/4 inch of space down here, and I want it to lay level with the rest of the stuff that I'm layering. That's a little ephemera piece. You can find packets of ephemera and tags and things like that again in the scrapbooking section. I've got little frames here. These are all things that I've had for years. This is just a little cardboard piece. I decided to put a frame around that title there so that that part pokes out and the rest is getting covered up. Just using a part of it. I cut it off. Put a little piece of paper here on the back because I realized that part's going to show off the edge. So when I flip it over here, you'll see it's all covered up. Looks nice and finished. And I'm going to use some quilting thread here. I do this a lot. I take just a big, you know, couple of, like a yard or something off of it, wrap it around my finger, and then I'll just add a little glue there, lay it down, and then I will glue the Reneabouquets chiffon flower over the top. And you can see here how just real soft and feminine that thread looks underneath that flower, and that is just, again, giving it a little more texture. That's what the shabbiness is all about. That's what comes into play. Adding some of the flowers from Reneabouquets and other flowers from my stash. Now this leaf lace, this is that drop leaf lace I showed you earlier from Reneabouquets. I just cut a few pieces of the leaf off and I'm just putting them in and around the project. So again, just a little bit shows here and there. You can add as many flowers as you want, that kind of thing. But I'm able to layer really nicely underneath all these pieces because of all that space that I added with the layering of that cardboard. And I'm just adding grays and aqua tones in here. Adding in those mini mint green roses and leaves from Reneabouquets. But they look aqua to me. But the shade is actually called mint. Just adding them in and around. Here comes some of those beautiful board laser cut chipboard circuit elements. They come in 2 full sheets. I'm cutting them up and then just adding them around the project. This is just a metal piece from scrapbooking from my supply. It's going to be part of our title here. Here comes some more of those circuit elements. Look at the texture this adds, just adding it in and around here and there. Adding a little bit more ephemera piece. This is a little ticket, tucking it in. Adding some of those Reneabouquets skeleton leaves in here. You got to have little leaves with our flowers, right? I always pull off kind of the ugly green shade of the leaves on the paper flowers because I don't like them. And so it's really nice to tuck in those Reneabouquets skeleton leaves. Here comes that sweet from that Reneabouquet Beautiful Words set. And I'm just tucking that in there. And then I've got a little resin birdhouse. Again, you just walk down the scrapbooking aisle and you can find all these fun embellishments and stuff. So my title for this piece basically is Home, Sweet Home. And I'm just using a little bit of shabby on one side because I want a lot of that wood to show from our, gluing of all our paint sticks. And I want to make a little tag, like a little ear tag. Cows, on farms have kind of the cattle have the ear tags. So I'm making a cute little ensemble here for the ear. And I've used a paper clip and a little frame and a little ephemera piece that it says adore you, because home sweet home, adore you. And I'm gluing the little wood heart on first before I glue on that ensemble. And then I've just got some great chalk paint here. I've watered down. I'm putting my fan brush in it, wiping off the excess. I've covered up my flowers because I don't want to splatter them. And then after I've wiped off the excess, I tap my fan brush to add some splatters just around the areas I've kind of decorated. Then we'll go ahead and glue down our little clothespin ensemble here. And we'll glue a little flower. And we'll glue a little butterfly kisses from Reneabouquets. And then I want to add just a little bit more texture here. I'm going to use my Beacon Fabric Tack glue for this and a little paintbrush to kind of spread the glue around. And then I take that chunky glitter glass from Reneabouquets and I just sprinkle it on with my fingers in all the areas that I want it to be. I'm kind of trying to do a little triangular design I do over on the ear on the left side and a couple places here on the right side. Once I get that where I want, I flip this whole ensemble over, I tap off the excess, and that makes this project complete. So I hope you like this project that I came up with today. I really love how it turned out. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you liked it just as much and maybe what was your favorite part about this whole project. Please give this video a thumbs up. And if you wandered into my video here and this is your first time and you like what you saw here today, make sure you hit that red subscribe button and notification bell before you click off so that you don't miss another video from me. Remember, I will have all the links to the Reneabouquets product I use on this project in the description box down below in case you want to check it out. Before I go, I'm going to leave you with one final thought. A lot can happen in 3 days. In 3 days, God chose to extend His perfect plan by giving us a gift of mercy and love through His Son, Jesus Christ. Jesus gave His life to give our free will an option to choose His plan for our life by showing us a way to the throne of grace. There was no other option in the eyes of God, who loves us unconditionally, and His only plan was to show us how much love His heart holds for us by extending the life of His Son. His Son, Jesus Christ, and what He endured for us on the cross shows us that He will always love us, always want to be with us. He promises never to leave us. He will not treat us differently as often as society does because of what we look like or what we wear or how much we weigh. He will always have time for us, always want to talk with us. He will always want to give us a hope and a future. Perhaps you've known Jesus for many years, but because of hurtful circumstances in your life, you decided to take a step back from Him, and that hurt has held on to you for a long time. Today's a beautiful day to open the door and invite Him in. Perhaps you've yet to meet Him for the very first time. It's an easy introduction. Say His name. He already knows yours. Open the door and invite Him in. Yes, a lot can happen in 3 days, and this upcoming holiday reminds us of the insurmountable love that God has for us. It's all written down, the book of John, chapter 20, verses 1 through 18, in the one book that has lasted for centuries, the Holy Bible. Happy Easter, my sweet friends. My heart loves you very much. I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.